We happen to have quite a lot of MOTU animation cells. This is probably one of the neatest things that we have at Second Chance Toys right now. Empire Strikes Back one is beautiful. This is probably the most niche thing that we have in the store currently. I'm sure many of you are looking at these and going, what the hell is that? A niche market is defined as a segment of a broader market through its own unique needs, preferences, or identity. What exactly does that mean? Well, I mean, it's kind of subjective, such as this Sofubi Vinyls Elixir Toys Fungusting. This is a one of one. This was printed in numerous different molds. However, it was only colored this way, so this would probably be classified as a fairly niche item. So things such as these Sofubi soft vinyls or animation cells, for example, are items that a lot of people might define as a niche market. So today we'll kind of walk you around the store and show a few different items that might belong in that category. Look at these beautiful, colorful monstrosities. This is probably the most niche thing that we have in the store currently, and that's because I'm sure many of you are looking at these and going, what the hell is that? I knew what they were when they walked in the store, and I knew that they were incredibly small market, small media type items, but they are really cool. These would be Sofubi Vinyls. Sofubi meaning from Japan. However, these were done by a lot of American artists. By the artists, I mean the people that painted these specific versions of the vinyls. These were printed in Japan, I'm assuming, and or by Japanese media, but I could not clarify that for you right now because even I know very little about them. I did some pretty deep dive research into these, and it's actually pretty hard to find a lot of concrete information. You can kind of find who did the artwork on them, but I wasn't able to find who produced the actual molds and whatnot, but they are very cool. And they were printed in fairly decent quantity and they were just given different paint applications. So this one is a one of one. It's from Elixir Toys. This is Fungusting. This is the only version of Fungusting that exists in this color. We have the only one that was printed in the entire world in our store. Very cool. This one is a 3 of 5, so it is the third one out of 5 that came in that colorway. It's really neat to take a look at these guys all together, and they were done by a whole bunch of different artists. So we have Elixir Toys in here, we have Draculazer and Chompton who worked together to create these two kind of like rainbow-esque guys right here. We have a couple Metacrypt Shubzeroths in here. Those are very interesting looking. I'm not going to expand on those. We have some Frank Mysterio, and the most notable name in here would be Mark Nagata. For those of you that don't know who Mark Nagata is, he designed the Kaiju for the Pacific Rim movies, which is an incredibly cool detail. Shout out to our buddy Jack for letting me know that. I did research that and it turns out that that was true, so Jack's cool. These guys are really neat. Niche market for sure. I would love them to find a home, not because I want them out of my case or anything. Well, I kind of want these two guys out of my case. They're weird. I think that they belong in somebody's personal collection, to be honest with you. They're wonderful works of art. They're fantastic pieces of, I've kind of referenced it multiple times, history. We happen to have quite a lot of MOTU animation cells. These animation cells are beautiful. They are awesome. They're actually incredibly well kept. And I do believe that we got these from one of two people. I think that our buddy Roger Taft had tons of these in his collection at one point, and we made a deal with him probably about 4.5 years ago now. I do think that's where all of these animation cells came from, but I'm not 100% positive on that. They could have come from our friend Mark Smith, who was an animator himself. These are super cool. This is probably one of the neatest things that we have at Second Chance Toys right now. They are really hard to display, maybe another point to a niche market. So we don't have them in-house. However, we do have them on our eBay store. So you can find these there. They're not out on the floor, but we do have them available. We can grab them for you. If you just come in, ask us about them, we can take them off of eBay and you can see them. They're just not on the show floor. So please come in and take a look at these if you're interested. While I'm up here, I guess I'll mention, again, drinking glasses. Lunchboxes and drinking glasses are fairly popular to people. However, the amount of people that collect them compared to the majority is probably pretty small, if I were to take a guess at the numbers. Most of the time, you have people that are looking for boxes that relate to a specific property, but collecting them as a whole is not something that's very common. And we do have some awesome ones available for you. This Empire Strikes Back one is beautiful. It does come with its thermos. It's gorgeous. We have a Flintstones one that is incredibly hard to find. It's awesome. We've actually had lots of people take a look at that one, and hopefully we'll find it at home one of these days. Now, over here in our Star Wars area, we have some pretty niche items for everybody. Those of you that collect Star Wars are probably pretty fascinated with merchandise, but that's not the case for everybody. We do have some homemade vintage buttons from the late 70s and early 80s relating to Star Wars. It's pretty cool. Some are concept art, some are official images taken out of like magazines and things like that. We do have a set of paper plates and cups that go together for Return of the Jedi. We have a carded Royal Guard collectible eraser, pretty neat. We have a Darth Vader pencil sharpener. We have some drinking glasses back here for those of you that enjoy those. It doesn't have to be super expensive. It doesn't have to be super rare. Just has to be something that not everybody collects. Star Wars people love action figures. I love action figures. I'm a Star Wars guy. But this is the stuff that really intrigues me. And although I don't collect it myself, I have seen it in quite a few collections, but not everybody likes the stuff. But you can find it almost everywhere. But that doesn't mean that it's not a niche market. Now you might be wondering why I'm down here, kneeled down by our wrestling case. But for those of you that have come in here and checked out this signed, authenticated Sting bat from the TNA Wrestling Hall of Fame induction, you would probably realize that I'm standing by this because autographed memorabilia is a pretty niche market. People love it. People love to look at it. Not a lot of people love to buy it in the grand scheme of things, and that's because of the price point. Most things that are autographed, if done by a larger popular individual, somebody who has passed, or somebody that has been in tons of media across their lifespan, tend to drive a pretty high price point for their autographed items. This Sting bat was brought in by a buddy of ours. His name's Charles, super nice guy. Sting was his favorite wrestler of all time. So we have this in our case, and we're hoping that it finds a great home one of these days. But because it's a niche market, we realized that we might be sitting on it for a while, and that's fine. It's pretty cool to have in the shop, and we enjoy when people come in and take a look at it. Wrestling's a pretty big thing here, and I do believe that people like to come in and see such a big piece of history. But again, pretty niche market. Now, as time moves forward, we kind of realize that things are moving digital. But there are still a lot of people that find gratification in physical media. And that's where our friend Wayne comes in. It's a niche market by percentage, just because it's in book form. But I do know quite a lot of people that have these books. This would be the Toy Collector's Wishbook by Wayne Scheiner. We have a couple of Volume 1 and Volume 2 available here for you. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and throw these into the niche market discussion because it is physical media. When you see a bunch of movies moving to pretty much streaming platforms, theaters are dying out, people are buying less and less DVDs. VHS is really more of a collector's item. People never use them. Video games have now become a major digital sale market instead of physical copies. And information like this can be found on the internet. But because this book is so well done and so thorough, this would be a wonderful way to sit down and learn some toy lines. And you don't have to go back and forth through pages and all that kind of stuff online. You can flip through them physically with your hands. And that is a very cool thing. I do believe that they belong in that niche market discussion because they're in book form. And that's not as common as it was at one point in time. As things move forward, like I said earlier, you know, generationally, these kinds of things are going to go more and more out of style, but they're beautiful. And we do have a couple of each issue here for you guys. Speaking of niche or niche markets, however you'd like to pronounce it, I would like to point out these Big Jim action figures. Now, some people might call these dolls, like with 12-inch G.I. Joes. In the 1970s, Mattel came out with these to compete directly with Hasbro's 12-inch G.I. Joe line. We do have the Wolfpack Warpath, Commander, and Whip 100% complete, unbroken. Very hard to find, super hard to find. Now, this might not be a niche market for a lot of people, but if you think about it generationally, as time moves forward, all of this stuff kind of gets left in the rear view to a lot of people. So it does take a very special person to walk in here and want any of this kind of stuff. Bionic 6, G.I. Joe, Big Jim. It's really cool though. It's super neat. If you ever want to come into Second Chance Toys and check out these guys, you're gonna want to come back to the office towards the customer bathroom and where my dad works. And you're more than welcome to take a look at these all day long. They're a very neat part of toy history. Niche market could mean a whole bunch of different things. And I guess to us here at Second Chance Toys, we kind of leave that up to you. We would love to hear your opinion. If you'd like to comment in our video sections on, you know, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, wherever you see the video, I would love to hear your opinion. I would love to know what you think about niche markets. I'd love to know what kind of niche items that you guys collect at home. And feel free to come in and show us pictures and videos of your collections anytime that you come into Second Chance Toys, because we love to see them. So thank you guys for supporting us, and we'll catch you next time.